Alright my friends, it's Krebsy and we're playing some World of Tanks. This match that I'm playing on right now is on Pearl River and I'm using my Jagdtiger. Awesome tank, love it. It's probably my second most favorite tank of all time. And my most favorite one, if you're curious to know, since I've left you on a cliffhanger, is probably the Hetzer. And I'm not talking about the modern day Hetzer, I'm talking about the open beta Hetzer, when before all these nerfs and whatnot. And I only say that because the Hetzer is probably one of the first tanks I was actually using. I went down the tank destroyer route with the Germans as my first line of tanks that I started working with when this game first came out. And that tank was so awesome back then, and not to say that it still isn't, it still is, but you could do some ridiculous stuff with it. You could hide in bushes and ambush people, and they wouldn't be able to spot you when they'd just be passing literally, not literally right beside you, but close enough to you, and it'd just be ridiculous. You could just ambush them, and it was awesome. You could do some really derpy stuff sometimes with the open beta Hetzer. That was a lot of fun. So I'm in this game with Beyond. He's gone down along the right hand side, Death Valley portion, and I'm here on the left, so we're a bit separated. Yeah, what's the point of a platoon when you're separated like this? But he felt confident about going to the right, I felt confident about going to the left. I'm not too comfortable with going into the Death Valley just because it's bottleneckish. And not to say that this area isn't bottleneckish as well, but I feel like there's more movement to get around. It's just my personal preference. But now what's happened is there's a number of enemies right in front of us, in front of my guys over here. What do you do in such a situation? You just gotta wait until the enemy plays their cards wrong and you play your cards right. I mean, I'm a tier 9 in a tier 9 match. I should be able to just bully the battlefield if I wanted to, especially being in a Jagdtiger with a 12.5 centimeter caliber cannon. You'd think so, but when you've got enemies like that in front of you, an object, I mean, you gotta really just be careful sometimes. You can't just go out into the open, or else you'll just be asking to be penetrated. And especially like an object that does massive amounts of damage. So sometimes you just gotta play a bit aggressively, but also a bit defensively. You can be up front like what our team was, but then you have to be a bit defensive. Not like my teammates here, the corpses left behind. Okay, they were in a pretty bad position. You can't be just out in the open like that. You gotta be around some cover. I mean, cover is your friend. You can't expect to stay alive when everyone has easy access to shoot your hull, for example, your belly. But so what's going on now is that the game has turned out into a bit of a stalemate, if anything. We've got equal numbers. Our guys are starting to reach their base, and their guys are starting to reach our base. Beyond's dead because he had to go do something, so he was derped. So he's AFK. And now they're going to be capturing the base if they wanted to. And lo and behold, look at what Krebs is doing. I'm just thinking to myself, right, I need to get back to base ASAP. I'm just going to take a straight line. Well, that's probably the worst thing I could have done. Note to self, and note to yourselves. Pearl River, when trying to go down the hill line, do not go down directly, because this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to end up getting stuck. Yes, I have just gotten stuck. I can't move out of this position. How frustrating is this? The game can still be won. It's 12-12 now. And those enemy tanks up there are just moving right in front of me. I can see them. I can spot them. And now I'm just a sitting duck. They can easily shoot at me. Oh man, I'm going to have to wiggle out of this. Back and forward, twist left to right. And it's only going to be inching tiny bits every time I do this. Inching it left and right, up and down. Wow, this enemy over here can get such easy shots on me. Yeah, he's having a grand old time. I'm just starting to get frustrated. I can't believe I'm stuck! What? I'm not stuck anymore. Alright, I think it's time for some payback time. Look at him run. He's afraid. Ha. Yeah, you see all those shots you got on me? Well, take that. And we ended up winning the round, because luckily one of our guys was capping the zone. But got a pretty damn decent amount of damage from that game. 41,000 silver. That's not bad. That's not bad. And what is that? Just over 3,000 damage? Yeah, I'm happy with that. So the next match is on Kamarin, and I'm using my VK4502P Ausf A. Another really great tank, and it seems like I speak in high regards of just about every tank out there, but I really do tend to only play awesome tanks when I go about punishing that ELC up there. Yep, that's what you get, ELC, for poking out way too far. Punishment for you. Learn the hard way. But to be fair, I was taking quite a big of a risk doing that, because the thing is, I'm shooting at a scout who's obviously going to scout me, and there might be a whole lot of enemy tanks right behind, at least, you know, towards the spawn, that could be able to shoot me back. So that was a bit of a risky sort of thing to poke around the corner like that, but paid off in the end. Got the damage on the ELC, and that's going to be him punished. He's probably not going to come out or want to come out anymore because of that. He's got no HP. And so now we've just got the easy task over here in the center of the island where we can just pick off people. Or should I say peninsula? That would be more correct. To try and pick off people. Now, do you guys remember when this map used to be in a number of patches ago? I can't remember what patch it was taken out of the game, but do you remember how awful it used to be and unbalanced? As in, this center peninsula would be one of the most unbalanced things ever, and actually just everything on the map, really. I mean, crossing the bridges when that was the only way to cross. When you're heading into the peninsula, there's only one bridge to get in from the south side, and then that was a bridge. It wasn't even a land bridge. It was a proper wooden sort of construction, and it also had a tank trap so that only heavy tanks could mow it over. If you're in a low tier game, well, good luck destroying that. And if at any time there was a tank coming across the bridge, an enemy one, say, if you destroyed it, well, that's pretty much just GG, because you just prevented the entire enemy team from getting across the bridge. It was such a choke point. You could, especially in higher tier matches, tier 10, if you destroyed like an E100 on that bridge, oh my gosh, nobody would be getting past that thing. It was just ridiculous. But they've changed the map quite substantially, and it's a lot better than it used to be. Now there's that ELC. He's still over there. I want to kill him, but I know that he's going to be hiding in that ditch. So if I do end up going out there, well, I'll probably die. Not a good idea. What it comes down to now is spotting and then hitting the people that are spotted. Sounds like common sense, isn't it? But it's kind of difficult actually to get those people spotted in the first place. You gotta come around corners that you don't really want to get around. Like left hand side. It was sort of collapsed quite a bit. But luckily for us, we've still got some guys who have taken up position in a more back stance on the map towards the rear, and they can still scout. So that was an Aero L44 taken down. I've got 3 kills. Now I'm telling Beyond during this, when this is going on, Beyond, hurry up, get 2 kills because we need to get brothers in arms. Oh man, oh man, these kills are just coming in. They're just racking in. And it's coming together really well because the enemies are pushing up, but we've got guys that are playing really defensively, but they're spotting at the same time, and this gives us guys in the center of this peninsula an easy chance to just penetrate them, shoot at them without taking any fire back. There's so much cover here. Rocks, the buildings, and it just becomes easy picking. We had no proper opposition in the peninsula. There was that one scout, but I mean, what does that mean? As long as you're not dafty and doing what I did just now and poking out way too far for your own good, then you'll stay alive. But see, because I was poking out too much, there was nothing in front of me to cover my actual chassis, my hull. Nothing at all, and that's why I took so much damage. Almost half of my health gone right there, and that's punishment for me. I have to learn. You have to learn really quick in this game. That's punishment for me. That just brings up a point about the VK. It's a really nice tank. You know, people say that it doesn't do a lot of damage in comparison to other Germans of its tier, but I'm really happy with the amount of penetration and also damage that this thing can do. Because what you're supposed to do with it is use its mobility. I mean, for a heavy tank, it moves pretty damn well and can keep up pace with a lot of medium tanks. And you're supposed to use your mobility to get around the enemy and try to hit those weak spots where possible. You can't really rely on the tank's armor because, oh, that's some bad angling. Really bad angling, actually. Because the hull has just almost like pretty pathetic armor. I mean, it can maybe defend against tier 7s, but at tier 8, there's the armor's just not substantial enough. I think it's like 120 millimeters or something along that lines on the front plate, and then 80 on the sides. Whereas your turret, well, that's a different story. Turret's quite bouncy. Anyway, we didn't manage to get Brothers in Arms in the end. I actually held off a shot, I think, on that British tank destroyer because I wanted Beyond to get it, and somebody else got it. Yeah, that was frustrating. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Until next one, this is Krebsy, and I'll catch you all later.